Oppa Gundam style. Wait, shit.
That's the real one.
Oppa Gundam style. Welcome to a new episode of Wow, Cool Robot. I am one of the hosts, Dan. I use he, him, they, them pronouns.
I am Max. I use he, him pronouns.
I'm Yuria, she, her.
We are getting close to the end of this series. Oh my goodness.
And just in time for the holidays. Well, no, we're actually going past the holidays by the time we get to the end. Never mind.
Yeah, it's around the new year is when we'll be finishing this. In like January sometime is when it all is going to end. But this is the penultimate show discussion episode. Well, this is the penultimate show watching episode, because I reckon we're going to discuss the show on the wrap-up episode. One can only hope. But it's coming down to the wire. This is what happened. This is kind of what I thought, where we're getting these episodes of the quarterfinals and semifinals, and we're getting episodes that focus not on the main boys, which is, honestly, I quite like it.
Mm-hmm. The stakes are building up. I'm excited to see where this ends.
Yeah, will Sei ever get to see his father before this ends? Who knows?
Classic anime dad trope.
Well,
he's just hanging out.
Yeah.
I mean, he is there, is the thing. We actually see him quite a bit more now.
He's there. He took C to the Gundam Hague, and he's gonna fly back in time to watch his son compete in the finals, presumably. But we got some very cool episodes to discuss today. So what say we kick this off? Dan, I believe you have 19.
Yeah. Okay, so, episode 19. Astray's Blade. We open with Niels Nielsen's gunpla battle that he won in the semifinals. He was easily able to defeat his opponent, but an important thing to note is that his blade renders firearms useless. After the match, he is met by Chairman Mashita's assistant. She offers a PPSE sponsorship, which Niels sees as an opportunity to gain more intelligence on Plavsky particles. However, she not so subtly explains that the only way he can get the intel is if he beats Sei and Reiji in the quarterfinals. On his way out, Niels comes to the revelation that either Sei or Reiji knows more about Plavsky particles. When he returns, he finds Caroline Yajima in his room, who has declared him her boyfriend. That night, Niels meets with the Build Bros in a park to ask if either can tell him about Plavsky particles, and in exchange he offers to withdraw from the tournament. The boys don't know that much about Plavsky particles, but are nonetheless incensed by the offer, and will only agree to help him after they fairly beat him. The next day, we get the big match. Build Strike and Sengoku Astray battle atop a Japanese castle in the red skies of night. The only way out is through melee combat. Niels uses a Chinese martial arts style despite his Japanese seeming, and after a certain point, both sides break their arms off and are given a short amount of time to repair them. Although pressed for time, Sei is able to give Build Strike the advantage it needs to win by coating its punching arm in instant blue. A big punches ensue, and our heroes win again. After the battle, Niels realizes that he has been caught up in the thrill of the gunpla battle, and while he does still want to find the truth behind Plavsky particles, he decides he will only battle as a hobby.
Yeah. One thing that I think I've kind of honed in on in regard to this show is that they need to make a gunpla like the Silver Bullet suppressor that just has extra arms stored onto it. Because this is a little bit ridiculous. How many arms has this stupid Gundam broken so far?
Gundam needs as many arms as it has shields, so obviously the Thunderbolt needs 4 extra arms.
I'm let me see if I can find a good photo of this. In Narrative Gundam, there is a suit called the Silver Bullet Suppressor. That's it's like a pretty souped up ace suit. But the weapon it uses is not designed for it. It's like a beam magnum that literally breaks the arm of whatever fires it. So instead of reinforcing its arm, it just has a backpack that has 4 extra arms on it. Incredible. So it can fire the gun 5 times total because it has those 4 extra arms, including the one it comes with. I think the Star build should have had this thing.
I think honestly, it would be fun if that was a sort of strategy for quick gunpla repair.
I mean, clearly they have just like spare parts in their briefcase or whatever, and they're able to affix a new arm to it real quick. But like, it's so funny how often, like every fight, some limb gets just completely blown off and shattered. They can write off those losses. It's fine.
It's fine.
It does make a little sense that they should have like a bag full of spare arms you can just buy at the store. I mean, you can get full packages of high grade hands at least. So
right, yeah, that is true. Just like the Nintendo Switch game, it's arms. So this one starts out. We see a Virtue Gundam fighting Nils, and we get some wild lore about beam frequencies and acceleration codings, which this just comes out of nowhere. And I think they just really wanted a very technical explanation on how Nils can cut a beam apart. I don't think you need one.
It's like the short version is like the beams come in certain wavelengths. And if you can like match that wavelength, you're basically immune to it.
It's like fucking Ikaruga, where you switch your polarity between like white and black to dodge the bullets. But with this, it's just like tune your Metal Gear Solid radio frequency to your opponent's beam frequency, and that allows you to cut through it somehow. But the entire show's core concept is that Plavsky particles just let you do anything. So I feel like the much simpler explanation is just, oh yeah, he can code his blade with Plavsky particles to cut through beams. Oh, look at that. That's a much simpler explanation and doesn't require, like, beam math.
God, Nils would be like a prodigy at Bullet Hells too, wouldn't he?
Oh,
absolutely.
I know he plays Toho.
Yeah. Yeah, he's absolutely on that lunatic mode.
He got up to clown pieces with like, where's the challenge?
UN Owen was him.
Shit. Oh no.
We figured it out. So the boys are all excited to battle him, and Nils kind of he beats the Virtue Gundam, of course, obviously, and he gets approached by Baker as he's walking away. And he planned this. He kind of like smirks to himself when she comes up and says she wants to talk to him. And she takes him to the office where Mashita usually hangs out. And she tells him that PPSC can be his personal sponsor. And they don't really ask anything in return. She just says, we want to spread Gunpla further, and we'd ask nothing in return. And Nils thinks this is just like a very kind of too good to be true, but also according to his plan somehow. And he's like, well, it's good that you're not really offering anything, because I don't need anything, because my Astray is perfect as it is. It's like, they both think they're one-upping one another. It's very shrewd business practices going on right now.
I'm not on, you are.
Exactly. The only thing he does ask is that he wants a tour of the factory, because obviously, he wants to find out what Plavsky particles are. And Baker says, well, that place is off limits, but hey, if you win, I'll take you to there if you can like get to the semifinals. So obviously Nils understands, they probably want Sane Reiji out of the tournament, and Baker's thinking, cool, he can defeat them, and then we can just like say, actually, fuck you, I lied, my fingers are crossed behind my back, you're not going to go to the factory, this place is off limits. So it's just deception all around. It's fucking social stealth up in here.
So he's like thinking about this, and he's like going back to his room, and someone's in there. So naturally, being a ninja-like boy, he apprehends them, but then finds out, it's Caroline Yajima.
That's a fair response to her just kind of reaching up in the dark.
Yeah, no, I think he is in the right to like judo throw her, basically. And she's fine, and she brushes it off, and she goes on about how he's her boyfriend, and he's all blushing and freaking out, and it's fine, it's cute enough. It's not like shoving it down your throat like most other shows would. So it's this one's fine to me, I guess. We cut from there to Kirara and Fellini, another wonderful couple. They're talking about how Nils like hasn't shown his true power in the tournament. And Kirara asks, hey, who do you think's gonna win? And Fellini's like, isn't it obvious? Whoever's feelings are strongest are gonna win the next match. So Fellini has no idea who's gonna win.
Of course. I love Neil's meeting with Sei and Reiji in like a park. Something just feels
under the fucking the single like light illuminating him in that cone.
Just they can't do a shady alley, so a shady park is what they're gonna have to do. I mean, Reiji was already here probably to meet with Isla anyway, so they were already in the area. He kind of proposes to them saying, hey, do you know what a Plavsky is? And he basically says, if either of you tell me, I'm going to drop out and I'll let you win. And he goes on, he explains that he only really entered the tournament to find out what Plavsky particles are in the first place. He doesn't really care if he wins or loses. He's like, oh, this is just a mere battle of toys. And then we see Sei, who does like the fucking Arthur angry fist.
Sei is the one about to throw down this time.
Yeah, I mean, if you say Gunpla are merely toys, Sei is going to fucking clock you across the face. How dare you? The horrific thing to say.
I mean, it's like the whole bit of like, friendship makes me. Did you just say friendship sucks? But with just Gunpla, just toys.
Yeah, Gunpla's I have the power of Gunpla and anime on my side. Reiji is obviously also gets pissed too because he doesn't care as much about the Gunpla, but he cares more about the battling. And he says, if you want something, you got to win it yourself. And, you know, he says that if you win, we'll do whatever you say, which is kind of a strange conclusion to come to because he's just kind of asking if they know anything about the fucking Pym particles. But alas, we cut the next day to the battle. The field this is just like this is where you fight Genichiro in Sekiro, but the sky is like Bloodborne Blood Moon instead.
According to the wiki, this is the very strongly resembles the Gundam castle from Mobile Suit SD Gundam Mark III.
Really? I mean, yeah, sure, that makes sense.
Yeah,
there's so much references to it.
Yeah, I kind of figured it'd be like a set from like an actual Gundam show, but I wasn't sure which one.
Apparently, this is where a lot of the Sengoku like style SDs come from originally.
I love all those cool Sengoku Gundams of just like fan fictioning your way through three kingdoms, but they're Gundams this time is just an incredibly cool concept to me. I think I have like two of them. One turns into like a dinosaur. I don't remember which Gundam it's based on, but I think the other one I have is a wing. Hard to say because they're so, you know, squashed and scrunkled. But they're battling, of course. We see Nils is like standing on top of the castle, arms crossed, and when the boys like try and shoot the beam at him, the shoulder armor comes off and grabs the swords and cuts the beam in half, and then immediately just boom, I've cut all of your equipment off. Once again, it's a battle of fists.
Swords versus fists. What could possibly go wrong?
I really think that the boys have to start finding ways to reinforce their equipment. I understand that, like, I mean, honestly, first of all, I wouldn't have even brought the shield in the first place. Like, if I'm Sei, I'm realizing, oh, Niels doesn't use beams, so what's the point of using the shield that is easily destroyed if there's no beams attacking it? Like, that's just one extra thing he has to, like, repair or rebuild. Very foolish.
He thought he could probably deflect the sword with the shield, of course.
It's not steel. No.
Nils, I stayed up all night playing Dark Souls. My parry game is on another level. Of course,
this is Dark Souls 3 parrying.
Oh, I never could do it. I can't parry in Dark Souls to save my life. Not Elden Ring either. It's that delay to when you're like, you press the button and then your character kind of swings the shield out. Bloodborne and Sekiro, though, I can parry like no one's business in those games because it's just like, boop, it happens when you press it. Like, I can't, that little delay is what completely throws me off to it. But in a more ideal world, why parry when you can simply dodge an attack?
Right.
Oh, you're going to cut me? I'm going to use my Gundam's iframes to roll through it. It's fine.
Just don't get hit.
It's simple. It's my choice to not get hit. So, you know, they take the backpack off. They activate RG right away. Nils is swinging his sword fast as hell. The boys are just going to try and punch him to win. and Nils, he activates his shield. I'm surprised he doesn't actually use this as a shield. It's that kind of like Oni face on the back. Because in the actual gunpla of it, it's a shield. Like, you can pop it off and, like, he can hold it as if it is a shield. But he never uses it as a shield. At least he hasn't yet in the show. It just kind of, like, the eyes light up and it belches fire. And he's able to, like, kind of, retreat using that and, like, go back in. And somehow, all of the talk about fucking particle bands numbers comes to fruition here when, I guess, Reiji is able to punch Nils' sword with the same beam-cutting frequency he uses, which is just what causes the swords to completely shatter. All right. I believe it. This is true and real. This happens. And Nils uses his secret technique, which I forgot. I didn't write down what it was called in Japanese, but the translation is particle fajin. And they talk about, and like you mentioned in the summary, Dan, they talk about how it's a Chinese name, for like a Japanese themed suit, but basically it's what if Plavsky particles were ki?
Just do some classic martial arts moves.
I'm pretty sure this is just a Fist of the North Star technique.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a well-known concept in just Eastern martial arts in general, like all the key manipulation. And first of all, I really like how it's just like it's palm strikes what the Astray is using, because again, so much of it's not how you strike, it's how like the key flows into your opponent, and that's what hurts them. Because like he after like one strike of this with his palm, like the as mentioned, the Starbeld's arm just completely explodes into a million pieces. But also Nil's arm also breaks off because the Build Knuckle can just do that. And honestly, I really thought that Build Fighters Try was going to be the really heavy martial arts one, because I know that's just like the burning Gundam again. But I guess Starbuild just really likes to punch things, huh?
It makes for a good climax. Like, you're all out of range weapons. Just deck your opponent.
They should have rocket fists. I want that.
I want a rocket
like
punch.
Zeong style fist that you can fling off on wires and just do a cool punch.
Man, I need to play Super Robot Wars again.
I would love to play one of those games one day.
Just remembering Mazinger and how much fun it is to just use Rocket Fist all the time.
Oh, that would be great. I see Mazinger kits show up every once in a while. I'm just like, oh, it looks so pretty.
Yeah, I really want the Cross-Hill SD one day. One day.
As they kind of go in for one final punch, the energy is so great that the castle like explodes and breaks apart. And we get this weird... I thought this was Baker pulling some kind of fast one to try and like cheat out a win.
I mean, she kind of is. I think she's like, oh, if I give them enough time, because the Star Build Strike probably still has a slight advantage if they're both armless.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, the Vulcan gun's in the head.
Right. Yeah, true, because Nils doesn't have that. Because, yeah, Baker says, technical difficulties, one single 60 seconds to fix your gunpla, and we're going to start over again.
I just remembered. I wanted to shout out this like, little mascot for, Yajima that's, like, whenever Caroline Brown's on screen. Sorry, not Caroline Brown. I meant Caroline Yajima. I think Caroline Brown's, like, some canceled VTuber or something.
Oh no, Nilsson's girlfriend has been canceled. No, Dan, I think I know what you're talking about. I'm trying to find. There was like a little thingy behind her.
Yeah, there's like a little almost Moomin unicorn sort of guy. You can see it on timestamp 1750.
Okay.
Or 1749.
Yeah, it's a little Moomin-y, isn't it?
Yeah.
Huh. This should be a gunpla. I'd like this to be a gunpla.
Master grade Moomin gunpla.
Oh.
Get on it, Bandai.
Moomin grade.
That's just the SD Master grade that was recently announced.
True. Yeah, you get that, what is it, Freedom? I don't really like Freedom that much, but SD Master grade is pretty cool to me. Give me like an MGSD fucking F91. I don't know. Do something.
I actually know it's probably inspired by the recent SD Gundam games with the higher definition. It's like, oh shit.
You could put a lot of greebles on those little guys. So the boys are working on repairing their kits. We see Nils. He's shaking with anger. How dare they hurt his Astray? And they make it on the battlefield, and Sei, it counts down, and Sei slams his gunpla. As the time hits 0, the star build flies into the arena, and everyone's like, "What the hell? Why did it take so long to repair it?"
He had a minute.
He had 1 minute to attach an arm and then just cover that arm in as much Gorilla Glue as he could possibly find.
You call yourself a master builder using Gorilla Glue? Ah.
It doesn't, it just says glue. It doesn't say any kind of, specific material, which is just, I don't know. I mean, I guess, yeah, you would use glue in some cases in Gunpla if you're, attaching pla plate or something like that. But we see it, and, because Nils goes to hit them with the particle phagin again, and they're kind of fine. I guess ki can't flow through glue, because we just see a close-up of the Build Strike's arm, and it's just frozen in a punching form, as its entire arm is encased in, globs of hardened glue. This is so silly.
Well, that's another arm busted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he gave it that gorilla grip.
That's so true. We get that RG gorilla knuckle. And again, it's just another slugfest until Reiji dodges Nils' final attack at the last second, and then Build Knuckle uppercuts, and just the Astray shield shatters and explodes. And everyone's amazed. We see a shot of Baker, and her jaw is dropped as she watches this match, because she just can't she can't put she can't keep the boys down. We see Isla, who's really sad because she realizes that if she wins her next match, she's gonna have to fight the boys here. And Nils is he walks up and he holds his gunpla up to the boys, and he's like, "Next time, I'm gonna win." And they all kind of give him, they joke. They're like, "Hey, I thought you didn't care about Gundams." And my notes just say, "You like Gunpla, don't you, Squidward?"
Yeah. You like Gunpla, don't you? Yeah. And then, Caroline Yashima meets with him again.
Yeah. It's cute. It's nice. It's Nils just says, "I was so caught up in solving the mystery that I didn't realize that I do like Gunpla." And then Caroline does the Ojo-sama laugh when she says she's his girlfriend again. You gotta have an Ojo-sama character.
It's a good archetype.
Good episode though.
Yeah.
I like it. I really like the Sengoku Astray, one of the first kits I ever did build. I mean, swords are cool, and when you have 2 swords and 4 arms, that's even cooler. Gotta give it up. And that will bring us to the next episode, which is episode 20, Isla's Betrayal. Ooh. Now that Isla has made it far in the tournament, Yosef flies in with his grandson to watch the match and tell Isla that she needs to win no matter what. She's being forced to fight despite her feeling troubled, since she will have to fight Sei and Reiji next round, and her past is leveraged against her in order for her to get the job done. Her opponent is Fellini, who fights well throughout the battle thanks to Isla's poor performance, as she's distracted about fighting the boys. When her handler fully activates the Embody system, which somehow allows her to up her battle output, she's taken over by the machine and brutally defeats Fellini, who nearly pulls a Hero Yui and attempts to self-destruct his Gundam, but is stopped by Kirara. Reiji sees this display of brutality, and upon realizing that the girl he knew as Aina is actually Isla, gets enraged at her. This is kind of a darker one.
Yeah, things are getting heavy in this episode and the next one.
I'm glad we got the Gundam trope of troubled new type, as it were.
We're getting into the dark backstory in this show about toys fighting.
Yeah. It's really funny that how, for the most part, this show is very lighthearted, and then we just get this drama bomb.
And 5 episodes before the finale too. It just shows up. But yeah, I mean, this is very much. It's the 4 Murasame, the L people. All of the kind of cool new types who seem mysterious and cool at first, and they realize they're all fucked up, and they get nearly taken over by the machine. And I really wish that car would stop revving its engine outside. My goodness. So the kind of, before we get the opening, we see the PPSE factory, and they're getting a call from Alan, who says to send them A5. He says he'll make a final adjustment, even though it isn't really finished testing yet. Although incomplete, it's the strongest gunpla in history. Okay. What does that mean, Alan? And we get this shot of a hangar in space, Gunpla space, and it opens, and you can tell it's It's Exia shaped. It has that sporty 00 look about it.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. I really like that this thing is stored in the hangar, like, as a gunpla in, like, I guess a Plavsky particle field. But again, what the hell does the strongest gunpla in history mean? He's showing up and no one's ever tried to, like, do the tournament with a resin kit before. And everyone's like, what the fuck is that? It's so sharp and angular and detailed and doesn't move right.
And also in this hangar little stand, just like one of those 1 to 144 hangar stands that are so flashy, but it costs like $15.
Oh, I would love that 144 Argama stand, but also I would have to spend X amount of money on a 144 Argama stand, which would be a lot. But then I could have my Hyakshiki and my Zeta taking off together because they're buddies, so it's hard to say if it'd be good or not. Because what else? They did a stand for, I think, like, the ship from Seed. You know what? Yuri, have you seen G-Witch yet?
No, I'm still waiting to get my polycode together for that.
Okay, it's not a spoiler or anything, but the Gundams get sent out in, like, basically just big boxes when they get transported to the battlefield. I want, like, a 144 scale Ad Stella Gundam box.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, it just opens. It opens up like a bureau or a wardrobe, and the Gundam's just there hanging out.
I mean, it's not like they need any more like incentive to buy G-Witch kits because those things are selling out.
Yeah. Oh, and they announced like 6 more yesterday too. The train don't stop. So we get the opening, and we see Isla, and I think the dude's name is Nine. Nine Barthas is her handler. I've like already forgotten his name, but Isla and Nine are meeting Yosef, the leader of Nemesis, at like the kind of airport, and he's there with his grandson, and he's just saying, "Hey, you got to win no matter what." And it turns out he's basically doing this just to make his grandson happy because his grandson liked gunpla battles. But he's just very, very mean to everyone else, and poor Isla is just kind of like at the receiving end of all of it.
Yeah, he's just gonna give his grandson a trophy for victory. The championship
I'm gonna give you the
trophy
World Cup
that Isla wins.
Yeah. Yeah, and Nine just says, "Hey, we know he's a very important sponsor. Just to humor him, you have to do this for Nemesis." I forgot that her organization is called Nemesis. That's very funny in Gunpla.
Oh, that's great.
This is my fun hobby battle for fun organization kill death.
She's got the Nemesis system. Next time she fights, she's gonna have like a fun comment about how you killed her, and
Isla the Revenger, and she's gonna have a Cockney accent, isn't she? Those games are pretty fun. So we cut to Mashita, who's like losing his shit, seeing that the boys are in the semis, and he's like trying to find Baker and ask for help, and Baker's like hiding under a desk trying to avoid Mashita. That's cute. I like they're like Team Rocket basically, like malicious yet incompetent. It's cute. Let's see. So we cut to the boys. They're in the room together. Nils, now that Nils has been defeated, he can hang out with like a normal boy with everyone else.
Yeah.
He's teaching Reiji how to do meditation breathing because he's like trying to help him unlock his memories to see if he remembers the Plavsky particles. And Reiji just falls asleep doing this because of what else would have happened here.
Yeah.
He's a sleepy boy.
He's neepy. Let him sleep. He's doing a lot of fighting lately.
So he decides that after learning about Sayori's like dad, he decides he'll do another. He'll try to unlock his memories through the power of hypnosis.
This is so silly. Yeah, like because he mentions his dad helped develop. Like he was around when Plavsky particles were being developed, and Nils was like, "That means you were 3 years old." And like we got a Family Guy cutaway to Say's dad, who's just like been crying inside Iori models, like crying for his wife eating instant noodles.
He's a wife guy.
He's a wife guy. When my wife is gone, I also just cry on the couch eating instant noodles and wait for her to get back.
But
Yeah, Nils is like trying to hypnotize Sei so he can remember something if he, was there when he was 3, remembering.
He remembers something, all right.
He remembers. He remembers 43 somethings. This is when Mao comes in crying about Misaki, and like at this point, Mao doesn't even elaborate on like why he's crying over Misaki. He's just like Misaki-chan, and like every time he shows up, it's just him being sad that he got rejected again. Poor kid.
I mean, you were a little strong now.
A little bit, Mao. You gotta tone it down. We see Fellini, who's like the room next to them or under them or something, and just like hears them stomping around as he's like trying to get ready for his match.
Yeah, it turns out Sei is actually just reciting lines from Amuro Ray from Original Mobile Suit Gundam.
It's so fucking funny.
Including reacting to the Bright Slap twice.
Yeah, like
what is going on, Sei?
You clock it when he's like, even my father never hit me. And all the boys are just kind of staring in awe at Sei knowing all of this. And I think Mao says, he's up to episode 9 now. Literally on.
He's like, talking about Matilda.
He salutes Matilda in his sleep. It's so fucking great.
What I'm wondering is, did Sei's dad make him watch Mobile Suit Gundam at age 3? And what effect has this had on his psyche?
Oh my god, yeah. He's one of those dads who is like, my kid's gonna learn how to play games on an original N64 with Ocarina of Time. It's his dad just like, the only thing he was ever allowed to watch was Gundam shows as a kid.
And then he looks at Victory Gundam and his dad's like, no, not until you're older.
Not until...
We don't talk about that.
You're too young, Sei. We see a cute little cutaway of China, who's being interviewed by Kirara, and she's all nervous, and, Rinko's in the crowd beat red because China's, like, accidentally embarrassing Sei, talking about how he spends all his time in class working on gunpla instead of learning. It's silly. Kirara, she sees Fellini riding to the match and, like, looks away as he goes, and we get to match 4, the final of the best 4. This is, like, who's gonna see who's gonna... Whoa. This is to see who's going to be in the semis. It's a snowfield the match is taking place in. We see the Wing Fenice still riding that fucking little unicycle. This thing is so choice. I love this. I love that you can buy this as a real thing for the Wing Fenice.
He faces off against Isla, and as it turns out, her secret is she uses clear funnels, transparent ones, which mean that they're around, but you can't really see them.
Yeah, the show hasn't really talked about it as of now. It's just like she's deploying funnels that you can't see, but only now is Fellini like, oh, they're just made of transparent plastic, which is just great. Like, that is so funny. That's so good. I love it. Like, makes no sense because, like, yeah, no, you whatever, let's say it's a Plavsky thing. But again, the idea of just like clear equipment that you can't see that can still fire at you is very, very, it's deeply fun to me.
Finally, us 90s kids that love the translucent products are justified.
Oh, yeah, I want funnels made out of the little transparent purple Game Boy. It's like, just cut apart a plastic shell of that and make it a weapon. Hell yeah. Fellini, he like kicks up a bunch of snow and like the funnels fly through it and he's able to kind of pinpoint them as they fly through and destroy them with the beam, the Buster Rifle. And like she's fighting, but she's really out of it. She's not really giving it her all. Fellini kind of like cuts apart one of her wing binders. And after all of her normal funnels were deployed, after her transparent funnels are deployed, she deploys her normal funnels. They're all stored in the tail, like the regular cube blade, but there's just like so many more of them. I think even the wiki says that like the cube blade Papillon can store like 5 times as many funnels as a regular cube blade because they just kind of like recess into it somehow. Makes no sense, but whatever. It can have like 100 funnels going out. Why not? Sure. Fellini's doing fine. He's like shooting all the funnels down. He's like, doing some ace piloting shit. This is when we kind of see the computer that 9 is working on, like, as Isla's battle assistant. And we see this thing called embody numbers. We don't know what this is yet. All we know is that the chairman, Yosef, is like, hey, my grandson wants to win. Switch to full embody output. I don't care if it hurts Isla. I'll just use someone else next time. What could this possibly mean?
Huh.
It's probably not good that he says that Isla's like disposable and expendable, and is going to like use the machine that hurts pilots to make them better.
Yeah, he uses a thing called the embody system, and he basically turns it up, and the way I interpreted it at the time of watching is she enters a state of, like, hyper-reality.
It applies fisheye lens filter to her.
Yeah, she becomes that one famous screen grab of Shinji, with his...
Yeah, basically, that's what I was thinking of. But... yeah, it kind of fucks her up. The handler doesn't care either. He just like blasts that embody number up. He's like, win and you'll be released. What this does is it makes like the little yellow bits on her armor glow, and it makes the pink markings on the Q-Blade Papillon glow, and it just makes her go complete sicko mode in combat, essentially.
Just like, completely tears up Fenice, and like tears off his arms, his wings, just slicing right through those with her lance. And then...
not a cutting weapon, mind you.
Little overkill. Just a little overkill.
Just a little bit overkill.
Yeah.
Like, we see the boys are running late to the match because Sei had to recite all 43 episodes of Gundam before he could wake up. But they make it into the stadium to see Fellini, be utterly defeated by the Q-Blade Papillon, and like Kirara calls him, saying that he needs to give up. He's being defeated too handily, and he allows himself to get impaled on the lance, and he like pulls himself closer to the Q-Blade. And I got so excited here because I'm like, he's gonna do the Hiro Yui thing from Wing, and. He says, I'm gonna invite you to my self-destruction show. This is the final curtain call for the Italian dandy. I wish he did it. I wish he fucking exploded the Wing Gundam like Wing Gundam do.
But
and it falls to the ground like Hero.
Yeah, Kirara just calls him a coward.
Yeah, don't fucking blow up your entire gunpla. I assume that's what this would have done. Just decimated it.
Theoretically, yes, but whenever Hero does blow up his Gundam in Wing, it just kind of like pops the head off and scuffs up the rest of the body. That's kind of it. It's a very stupid system of self-destruction in that entire show, and like everyone tries to do it at some point. It never really works.
But it is dramatic. That's the important thing.
Yeah.
It makes the body glow and just this insane explosion. It's like, oh, as the dust clears, I'm standing perfectly fine on the pavement. But yeah, she's like, hey, you're fighting to win. If you lose today, you gotta win tomorrow with your Fenice.
I think she just is calling him to not rage quit like a sore loser.
Right. I mean, that's the thing. She literally just told him to give up. But he's like, I'm gonna blow myself up. And she's like, that's not a cool way to give up. And Fellini's like, you're right. I'm too cool to blow up like this. So he concedes, but Isla doesn't. And she continues to still fight and just like starts just fucking stabbing the crumpled body of the Wing Fenice with the lance. And then the beginning Gundam shows up out of nowhere and like flies into the field and like tries to stop Isla, and then she just instantly cuts it into pieces with some cool special technique. And then we see the credits, and then after the credits, we see Isla, like her embody numbers drop, and she like passes out, and Reiji runs over, pissed as hell. And he sees in like her helmet, there's like a crack in the eye, and she can see Isla. He can see Isla's face, and he's like, "Aina, what are you doing here?" And he's not very happy. Let's say he's not terribly pleased at this.
Yeah, he basically declares revenge.
Yeah, I'm gonna kick your ass in Gunpla for this. This is a crime that cannot be forgiven.
Crimes against Gunpla.
It's a crime. It's Gunpla war crime.
I'm gonna call Sei's dad on you.
After he takes seat at the Gundam Hague. And that is the episode, which brings us to 21.
21. Amid the glittering particles. After Sei, Reggie, Mao, and Niels discuss Isla's covert operations and her last match, we have a flashback to Isla's past. She was an orphan that had the ability to see the plasticky particles in gunboat flights, and as a result was taken to the Planet Institute by, Barthes to turn her into the ultimate gunpla battler using the Embody system. We then cut to Reggie, who is stress eating, as he tends to do, when Fellini comes by and they briefly talk about the match, and Fellini starts to taunt Reggie about trying to find a reason to hate Isla in order to battle her, and lamenting how he came to a draw against a snot-nosed kid. And then we cut away before Reggie gives him the classic deck to the jaw. Everyone gathers for the semifinals, I believe.
Yes.
And Reggie tells Sei that after all that emotional conflict he's been having, he's just not going to think, so he's going to leave that to Sei instead. During the match with the Jubilee, the embodied system starts to fail before Barthes once again ramps it up. However, before the Jubilee can finish off the Star Build strike in one final swoop against Isla's will, there is an amber light glowing brightly through the entire stadium, where even the chairman brings out a stone as it also glows, as he refers to it as Alarista. Reggie and Isla have sort of a new style type talk, as she reveals, not wanting to return to her orphan lifestyle before, not wanting to fight. And in this touchy emotional moment, Reggie just fucks it up by saying that even though he's in the same boat, Reggie's still going to win this fight. Which causes Isla to snap out of her emotional turmoil, throw the helmet off, and decks the Star-Built Strike in the gunpla battle. Then outside of it, floors Barthes, who's trying to figure out what's going on, and then with the other heel guy, she tells him to shove it. And she tells his grandson that if he wants a Gunpla trophy, he's going to have to earn it. She then goes back to Reggie and fights the Star-Built Strike her way. And in the climax, the Star-Built Strike still etches out its victory, earning its way to the finals.
Yay!
What an episode!
What an episode! What a wild arc, and it kind of just it kind of brings Isla's arc to a close in an episode and a half, pretty much. Yeah. So it starts out, Reggie is still mad at Isla. He's like, I don't care who you are or why you're a fighter. I'll never forgive you. I swear on the royal house of Arion. And Mashita's like, fuck, shit. He remembers his full name, or he remembers who he is. And Mashita knows that Regi's full name is Arya von Regi Asuna. Okay. Yeah, sure. I guess Mashita would know this is not Regi. And I think we get the opening here, and afterwards, the gang they're all talking about Isla, and they're talking about how cruelly she fights, and Nils wonders if her suit has a special system in it, like the Berserker system in G Gundam, and we see the Nobel Gundam, and we see Alan be pissed as hell in the background.
And then they say, oh wait, that's illegal, isn't it?
That's illegal. They wouldn't do a system that can't be detected that boosts your pilot's performance in a gunpla battle, would they? Special tool will help us later. Reiji says the reason doesn't matter. Isla's a despicable fighter who doesn't respect her opponent, and Sei's like, do you really believe that? And Reiji says, fuck you, I want to fight. Or China's like, Reiji's probably the most mad out of all of us, because he was, he's getting kind of close with Isla, and sure, he's mad that she's kind of betraying everything, and the whole thing was lies. She's always been a gunpla fighter. She just lied about being this terrifying cyber new type about it.
So the skills she had with her SD Gundam were actual skills, not just beginner's luck. How dare she?
Yeah, whoa, how dare she? We see Isla, she's on a table in her kind of F1, the trailer. The machine's checking her vitals, and she's subconsciously refusing to gunpla battle because of Reiji. And this is when we get Isla's whole flashback. She was a kid in, I guess, Sweden or somewhere. And she's always been able to correctly guess the winner of any gunpla battle she watches, because she can feel the glittering stuff surrounding the suits.
I want to point out that the first match she's predicting has the G Cannon Magna, which is a fucking cool variation of the gun cannon.
Magna. I noticed that.
Maybe?
Whoa. Okay, that's what it was. I saw this and I was like, "What the hell kind of gun cannon is this?" This is one of those F91 silhouette Formula 91. This thing's cool. This is just a jacked up gun cannon.
It's so rad, and there really isn't any gunpla except maybe a 1992 release. Why?
Oh, Yuria, did you see the gun cannon? They just revealed the gun cannon version from Doan's Island as a high grade.
I I thought like they weren't going to do that because the gun cannon looks similar to the recent revive, but hell,
No,
if there's
this one looks so good. It was revealed like yesterday, I think.
Okay, let's see. Holy shit, that's real great, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, and that means this is technically an origin kit too. Oh,
Yeah, so it's gonna be like a really very quality build, and I like the different barrels you can put up top and the little antenna it has, and oh, it's so nice looking.
Oh shit. Yeah, I'm
I
looking
really
at
like
the...
that two-tone red on it too. Or I think it's two-tone red. That might just be shadows, but
Yeah, I was kind of annoyed at like how Origin was doing the gun cannons dirty.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, at least the manga is covering the original, so
Yeah, not
But,
anymore.
like-
Not with this kit though.
yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to get this. Yes.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Isla's talking that she can see the glittering particles surrounding the suit. She can basically sense Plavsky particles. And we get the lore on what Embody is. It basically links Isla's subconscious and lets her see the future with Plavsky particles. Like she can see the movement of them before they move. And Barthas asks the scientist if this is against the rules, and the scientist is like, "Well, no one else can use it, so she can't get caught doing it, so it's fine." It's like, well, doesn't mean it's not against the rules, Chief, but all right. We see Reiji. He's eating a hot dog in the park. He's pissed as hell, and Fellini comes up to him that he knows he's in a bad mood. And basically Fellini's like, I know you're in a bad mood. Here, let's have a fist fight so you can get your emotions out a little bit. Not a terribly great advice, Mr. Fellini.
Like, the way it cuts out, you'd think that it was going to be a reversal, and Reggie's charge was going to be instantly reversed. No, he just instantly decks Fellini again.
Yeah, and like we do see Reiji get scuffed up a little bit, which I was kind of surprised. I thought it was just going to be a one and done. Reiji like slugs Fellini. He's like, "Oh, my mind is clear now." But when he punches him, we kind of fade another flashback of Isla. She's like angry in bed because she's kind of being kept in some facility, and she's just being tested day in day out. And her handler's like, "Well, if you don't want to work with us, we can just kick you back on the streets if you don't cooperate." And this is again horrifically dark backstory for this show about plastic robots fighting.
Uh-huh.
Poor Isla.
Yeah, Gunpla's expensive. How are you going to afford that without,
I know.
Okay, it's not actually that expensive. Like, they've actually done a pretty good job of trying to not gouge prices and stuff.
Yeah, I was talking about that earlier.
Uh-huh. Lego.
Yeah, oh my god, if Bandai's like, we've been... you assholes have had it too good for too long, we're raising the price on everything. Be very sad.
Welcome to our 4-digit perfect grade.
We see her training, and funny enough, the Q-Blade she's been with that for a while because she started out in a Q-Blade mass production type from the end of Double Zeta, which is really cool. We see her in that cool gray Q-Blade with the weird, funky looking head. She says that the suit makes her head numb, and she thinks gunpla battle's ridiculous. She just wants a normal life. And she's kind of like thinking, oh, I want a normal life with Reiji? And
Reiji.
He's still mad.
Uh-huh. Yeah. She, like, wakes up from, like, a dream she was having.
Yeah, like, she, like, pants to Reiji's face, and as he turns around, he's, like, fucking mad, and scares her, and she wakes up. And Barthas just says he says some Diavolo shit about only the results matter. Kikarakida. And this is his business. You just have to win. Nothing else matters.
Basically just doing this to promote, I don't know, brands.
It's all... Yeah, what the hell brand is she even promoting? What does Nemesis stand to gain from this tournament?
I don't know what they make. I guess, like, gunpla accessories or something?
They make cool Tron helmets.
They make guide videos that are heavily advertised.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, with our partner, Raid Shadow Legends. You can learn how to gunpla better. So Mashita's freaking out. He's like worrying about the next match, and he asks Baker if the boys are going to lose to Isla. And Baker says, "Oh, of course they're going to lose. She's the undefeated champ. It's not like they haven't been winning all their important matches all the time, right?" And as we see Isla and Barth is walking down the hall to the match, China sees she meets with them in the hall, and she kind of hands some good luck charm to Isla, saying, "Hey, good luck." And her handler's like, "Take it. You just wear it so you can please your fans." Again, it's the brand. This Gunpla match sponsored by Coca-Cola. Drink up.
Did you see that they have the new G Fuel Gundam out?
Yeah, it was. We were talking about it at work. It has this unique shaker bottle, like a very tall shaker bottle with like Gundam art on it, and the flavor is MS Melon, but it's spelled in like fucking leet speak to look like a mobile suit, like cereal number.
Yeah,
but it's like Ramune melon flavor, which I think sounds pretty good.
Yeah, like it was posted on another channel. Someone was like, "Oh, that actually sounds really good."
Yeah, I mean, G Fuel does good flavors. I really, really like their Elden Ring Crimson Tears flavor. It's what is it? Fucking prickly pear.
Yeah, I hate how much I actually like the Wumpa fruit they did.
Oh. What would that even? Is that like a peach orange kind of flavor?
It's a peach apple kind of mix.
Okay, not so bad.
Surprisingly works, yeah.
So, okay, story time. My coworker, we were having a conversation about some of the most vile things you could drink, and Pilk came up, which is Pepsi and milk. And we had that, and like it's bad, but it's not as bad as you'd expect. But he apparently ordered the Naruto miso ramen flavored G Fuel because he wanted he did it as the joke. You get like a unique shaker bottle with it. Cool. And he poured the Naruto miso ramen G Fuel in the shaker, and we all tried it. And I think that might have been the most vile thing I have ever tasted in my nearly 30 years on this planet.
Cold miso broth.
Cold miso ramen. Cold caffeinated miso ramen is... Oh my god. Like, I was like, I'm going to puke right now. It was truly one of the most evil things I've ever had the displeasure of tasting in my days. I don't know. I mean, I know why they did it, because it's a funny goof. And I think the sage mode flavor people say is good too. It's like a kind of a tropical orange, but like, look, kids, listen up. Don't order the miso ramen flavored G Fuel. It's not funny, even as a bit. It's not worth it.
There's enough joke foods out there.
Yeah, just, I don't know, eat a worm or something. It's better than that. So, the battle's imminent. Reiji tells Sei that he's not gonna think, he's just gonna fight. And Sei's like, oh, cool, right on, buddy. So they launch, and the battle's in a forest, which doesn't really seem like a kind of climactic battle arena, just some woodlands.
Yeah, we had the giant castle with the Astray, we had the snowy mountains with the Ghibli versus the Wing.
Mm-hmm. Should have been like a volcano or something.
I think, it does look kind of cool.
Yeah. I mean, like again, they're flying through the trees and stuff, but it's very much like, I don't want to have a final climactic battle against my rival in like Viridian Forest.
So a key part of their strategy is they fire like little head guns, and out of it come little aerosol spray paint.
Just like, this is so funny.
Just little paintballs of that coat all of the in transparent funnels and let them blow them up.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it works. Yeah, it's like it's again, it's Splatoon. He fires the Vulcans, all the individual funnel gets marked. He blows them up. So and Isla predicts this, and as he blows it up, like she goes in to impale the star build, and like she at the last minute she sees Reiji in the suit and kind of like diverts and doesn't land dead on. And her handler's like, all right, you know what? Fuck this, actually. And, like, cranks up the embody to full right away. She goes sicko mode. She starts destroying the Star Build's equipment once again. And they're back to having just, like, part of the backpack, and that's it. No gun, no shield. She goes to, like, impale it in the head with the lance, and Reiji grabs the end of it and stops it. And it kind of turns into, like, a fist fight. And, you know, Reiji can't hit Isla because the embody. She's dodging everything. Starbuild's arm, once again, gets punched. I feel like I should have been keeping a tally when this series started about how many arms that they would lose. It gets punched off. Isla fires the regular funnels. She keeps fighting back against the Embody, though. Like, she's very clearly, like, not wanting to fight. And then we get a cool rock.
Yeah, so this whole time she's been wearing, like, a little necklace, and it's got the little ball on it. You know, the ball that's important to
Reiji's
the
magic
other
marble.
world. Yeah, Reiji's special marble. The one that Sei had, the one that Reiji has on his bracelet, and as it turns out, the one Chairman Mashita has in his pocket watch.
Yeah, he's had a cool marble the whole time too.
The whole, like, arena gets bathed in a golden light. And it's just Reiji and, Isla, and, like, Isla's just agonizing over how painful this is, both physically and emotionally, and,
she's in the soup.
Uh-huh.
We're finally getting new type shit. Kinda,
yeah.
Yeah.
Reiji kind of realizes that, like, oh, she's not fighting willingly. She doesn't really have anyone. She only fights to survive this so she won't be alone. And Reiji's like, oh, you can just live wherever you want, just like me. Come crash at Sei's house after all of this. Come live with us.
Uh-huh.
Not a thing that you should be able to offer, Reiji, but sure, I guess. And as he offers this, Isla thinks all of Reiji's cool moments and how much, I guess, she loves him. He's always so foolishly serious. And this allows Isla to, like, you know, when she goes back to reality, the Embody drops to 0. And Reiji asks her why she hid her identity. And she just says, I was worried that if I beat you, we'd stop hanging out. And Reiji was like, as if you'd beat me. And this is when, like, they just start kind of, like, flirting, arguing, like, you know, baka, baka, baka. And everyone in the crowd is just kind of, like, eyes popped out, mouth agape, that, like, this serious fight is now them just, like, calling each other's names, like, cavorting around a forest together.
It's turned into Rock'em Sock'em robots at this point.
Yeah,
it's like Metabots.
They've just become some, like, normal children.
Yeah, they are, like, 15, I guess. They're chilling now. This part's so great because Isla, now that she's, like, normal and has her confidence back, she's telling absolutely everyone to just completely fuck off. Like, Barthas comes into kind of her battle zone and she shoves him out by the face, and the president is like, what are you doing? And she's like, fuck you. And the little kid, she's like, hey kid, if you want a trophy, you win it yourself. I'm doing this. And she's like,
the kid even responds, yes ma'am.
Yeah, it's so choice.
Yeah, like, Reiji tells Sei to turn on the G armor, and he's freaking out too.
Yeah, and, like, they land in this beautiful field of flowers, and Isla, she tries to predict where the build knuckle's gonna come from with the particles, and she's like, I can't dodge it. And then Reiji fucking punches the Q-blade in half. It's really cool.
Hell
I know
yeah.
people were starting to get a little sick of, like, the build knuckle, but this.
They're finding cool new ways to do a very nice punch. Punch a sword apart, punch a beam apart, punch a robot in half. I'm into it. This is good. I'm liking this. I want them to do, like, a build knuckle double axe handle like Vegeta does in Dragon Ball.
Mm-hmm.
Just, like, bonk something on the head so hard the head, like, plummets through it like a cartoon. And yeah, Isla's defeated, and she's like, I'm not special at all. I'm just a regular Gunpla fan. And we get, like, the post-credit scene of Sei thanking China for giving Isla his cool rock. And, you know, Reiji and Isla, they're, like, drinking juice from the vending machine, and they're all happy. They're never better. And Isla's like, you better keep your promise to me to have me stay at Sei's house. And, like, China does the fucking Gendo Ikari, glasses turning white, and her head turns all red because another girl is living at Sei's house. And then we hear Mao crying over Masaki because he has to have his little moment here too.
That's it for this week.
That's good. Now we're gonna have Isla hanging out with everyone now.
Mm-hmm.
I like
four
this.
more episodes.
Four more episodes. Holy moly! Next week is going to be a little bit jumbo spicier, bigger than before because we'll do all 4 of those as we kind of bring the series to a close. And the week after that will be the final Build Fighters episode, because we're going to be doing the wrap-up, which means I got to get that mailbag open soon. And I got to download, like, all the images for the tier maker.
Right.
Oh, well, I'll do that after I watch last episode. We got time. It's the holidays. We probably won't be on a regular schedule for a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe by then I'll have my Build Strike Real Grades like backpack built.
Ooh, nice.
I have had that. That was like my first real grade. I still haven't built the fucking backpack.
Oh, I mean, it's true. It's true to the show. Just say it got punched off by one of the 100 gunpla that punched it off in the show.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, before we take this one to this actual close, I have a Beyond Toon World for us.
Yeah.
You're going to love this. Trust me. Beyond Toon World!
So, I feel like this is happening a lot lately, where I will look up a voice actor, and I will see that their popularity number on behindthevoiceactors.com is one single digit, and I'm realizing, oh, this person's fucking gigantic, and I don't know. Well... We're talking about Ayla Yurkiainen's voice actor, Saori Hayama, who is number 2 popular on behindthevoiceactors.com. So we got a lot. She was born May 29th, 1991 in Tokyo. She attended a voice acting training junior high school, and she also has a singing career, so she can do it all. Her very first role in 2007 was an anime called Toka Geton as Momoka Kawakabe. And from there... she's been in all of the Bakuman series as Miho Azuki. She was in Gundam Age early on in her career as Yurin Luciel. She's Senko in Marvel vs. Capcom games. She is Yotsugi Ononoki in Nisei Monogatari. She's Sachi in Sword Art Online, which I think I almost remember that character from like the one season of Sword Art I watched before I realized the show's actually like fucking garbage. God, I don't know why I spent time watching Sword Art. She's in Initial D as Mika Uehara. She's in Fairy Tail as Kagura Mikazuchi. Obviously, in 2013, Gundam Build Fighter, she was Ayla Yurkiainen. She was Suruko in 2013's Anohana. Starting in 2013 and going to modern day, in all of the Trails of Cold Steel games, she is Emma Milstein, who's, I guess, like the main character of that, I think. Or maybe that's Estelle.
Estelle's the main one. Yeah.
Okay, but Emma shows up in a lot of them. She's a lot of Emmas, I've noticed. We'll get to more Emmas later on, but in 2014's Noragami, she was Suyu. In Your Lie in April, she was Emi Igawa. In One Punch Man, she's Fubuki. She's the sassy lost child. Wait, no, is Fubuki the older sister? Hold on, shit.
I think Tatsumaki is the sassy lost child.
Right, Fubuki is the older sister. She's Blizzard. She's not the sassy lost child. Never mind. Still. In Idolmaster, she is Kaede Takagaki. I'm saving this one for later because this is like maybe the most important one. In Devil May Cry 4 2015, she is Kyrie. Starting in 2015 in Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE, she is Shida, and she's Shida in like all of the other future Fire Emblem games, including Fire Emblem Heroes. And I want to say she's in the new one. She's in Engage as one of the Ring Fire Emblem people. In 2015's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Eyes of Heaven, she is Daya Higashikata, who is a Part 8 character who like we're not going to see in an anime for a long ass time, but like she voiced her in that game for like the 2 voice lines she probably had.
Well, the manga did wrap up, so we'll eventually see a Part 8 anime.
That's true, and JoJo Land starts next year. Holy moly, Araki, you got to take a break. 2016.
Have you seen him? He is a real life vampire. He doesn't age.
That's true. He's a pillar, man. 2016 Silent Voice, she is Shoko Nishimiya. In 2016's Gundam The Origin, she is the one and only Lala Soon, the OG new type.
Oh, you know what? I remember that voice. Yeah.
Yeah. That's Ayla. She's a beautiful swan. In 2017's show of Boruto, she is Boruto's dad's daughter, Himawari Uzumaki. In 2017 video game that I like, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, she is both Fan Lenorn and Laura. In 2018's A Place Further Than the Universe, she is Yuzuki Shiraishi. Ooh. 2019 Demon Slayer, she voices my favorite Hashira, the insect Hashira, Shinobu Kocho. She's a cool butterfly girl, and I like her a lot. 2020's Jujutsu Kaisen, she is Sumiki Fushiguro. In the Demon Souls remake, she voices the Maiden in Black. Coming at you with 3 Emmas back to back to back. 2021, Skate the Infinity, she voices Emma. 2021, 8-6, she voices Anju Emma. And also 2021, Tsukimichi Moonlit Fantasy, she voices Emma. A big year for Emmas for her, I guess. Let's see. In the remake of Urusei Yatsura, Shizoyuki.
Oh, great.
She voices Edge in Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope.
Is Edge the one with, like, the black and green hair?
Yeah, it sure is.
Great.
2021, I mean, as of this year, since the anime is caught up to this point, she voices Yamato in One Piece.
Uh-huh.
Yamato, they're a very cool character, Yamato is. What people know her for the most is voicing Yor Forger in Spy Family. She's popular for that, but the role that got me to pop off the most, in 2015, in one of the greatest video games ever made, the original Japanese dub of it, a little game called Bloodborne.
Oh.
She's Lady Maria of the Astro Clock Tower and the Doll.
For a second, I thought you were going to say, like, Xenoblade Chronicles.
No, I mean, she was in Xenoblade too, but, like, I don't think they really reuse voice actors. Well, I guess they don't reuse voice actors between the other games too. They're just all British. But yeah, she's Lady Maria. She has the cool sword and the blood and the flames. And she's the pale doll, and she's very nice, and she says, "Good hunter." She's nice. I like her. That's Ayla Yurkiainen. That is Saori Hayami. It's a big-ass list. Damn, I gotta find someone for the finale. I'm trying to think who I haven't done yet. I'll get there. But that's Beyond Toon World. I got a little bit of a beefy one today.
All right.
Nice and big.
Nice and big. As we take it to the close, I believe it's time for Robot of the Week. I almost forgot. Now, Yuria, I believe you did it last week, right?
Yep.
And does that mean it's your turn, Dan? Yes.
Yes.
Dan, what's the Robot of the Week?
Well, seeing as how we're drawing closer and closer to the holidays, I decided that my Robot of the Week would be Metal Gear Mark II from Snatcher. So, in the games, you play as Gillian Seed. He's a Snatcher, or he is a junker. His job is to hunt down Snatchers, which are like Terminator robots. In his like detective efforts, he has a partner who is literally a little Metal Gear robot who it just like helps him out with like computer stuff.
Aw, this guy's so cute.
Snatcher was developed after the first Metal Gear, but before Metal Gear Solid. And the character would go on to inspire Otacon's usage of a little Metal Gear robot in MGS4.
Yeah, I was gonna say, this thing looks almost exactly like the little dude from 4.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
This thing is so cute. I love when robots have, like, little antenna that make it look like they have little hairs on their head. And he has, like, what is that, like a computer screen attached to him?
I'm not sure. I think I'm looking at the various depictions. I think it might be like a little TV for like interfacing.
Oh, it's
and
so
stuff.
cute. I can watch Gundam on this little guy. He's so shaped. I like his little toes. Oh, this guy's so cute.
That's probably what Otacon used Metal Gear Mark II for.
Yeah, honestly, so he can watch his Japanese anime. Aw, what a cutie. This guy, I love this guy. He's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Hideo Kojima. Thank you, Jeff Keighley. Cool. Wow.
Our last Snatcher reference was Metal Gear Solid 5, because you could get one of the tapes in.
That's right. I remember that one.
Actually, no, that was an entire mission based on Snatcher. Never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. You play as Raiden and you hunt down like cyber robots, Snatchers.
Snatchers. That was very strange.
I need to play it someday.
Hideo Kojima, what a strange individual. Oh well, Death Stranding 2 is a game that's going to happen, so gotta finish the first one. Well, now I believe it's time for plugs. So Dan, where can we find you on the internet?
You can find me at a lot of places, and you can find all those places at biggerchallenge.card.co, That includes my other podcasts, which include Pod of Greed, a Yu-Gi-Oh podcast. We have a finished discussion of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, and in a few weeks we will be starting our we will be starting on the next Yu-Gi-Oh! Series, Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. You can listen to the Sonic Shuffle, a Sonic podcast. I need to work out some scheduling stuff, but we might be doing a little Christmas episode where we talk about some comics that involve Christmas plot lines. You can listen to Video Games, the Movie, the podcast, a video game movie review podcast I do with my friend Maxie. I will be editing and uploading soon our Warcraft episode. And our next episode is going to be on what was it again? Oh yes, we decided to go with Final Fantasy, The Spirits Within.
Oh, tremendous. Excellent. Isn't fucking Alec Baldwin in that movie?
I have no idea. I have 2 physical copies of it. One on VHS, one on DVD. I think one of them is marked as not for resale.
Fucking Steve Buscemi's in that movie? Holy shit.
What the fuck? What have I walked into?
Thank you, Hironobu Sakaguchi. Thank you so much.
Let's see. You can also visit my Twitter and Tumblr, both Bigger Challenge. Co-host, cohost.org/bigchallenges. At Xbox_holiday, where Usher celebrates holidays with Xbox. Happy New Year, Xbox.
And happy Super Lesbian Animal RPG release date, Xbox.
Yeah,
that is today, December 20th.
Yeah, I'm going to be playing it immediately after we finish recording.
Hell yeah.
That's it for me.
Cool. Yuria?
Hey, I'm Yuria on co-host, Yuria on Twitter. 6 Feet Under has, as we're recording this, released the final Mouse Guard episode, the part 2 of the epilogue, and possibly our final episode? Well, who knows? Also, thing I was going to talk about, I am back into writing a tabletop game that I started writing earlier this year. Tentative name is Sheer Mech Attack. It is a hack of worldwide wrestling, focusing on duels between giant mechs. And one of the styles that I chose was basically like Bill Fighters, the sports anime.
Yes. Yes, that's so fucking choice. Delightful. Hell yeah. I'm Max. You can find me on Twitter at MaxyBajillion, also on Tumblr at MaxyBajillion. You can listen, as Dan mentioned, to Pod of Greed. You can listen to Slappers Only Pod on Twitter and NVM the Trollocs on Twitter to listen to 2 of my other podcasts. I kind of forgot how to talk there for a second. This show can be found on Twitter at WowCoolPodcast, as well as Noisepace.xyz, which is a podcast network that many of our shows are on. You can join our Discord. You can post your gunpla. You can hang out. And I think that will take us to the close. So, what do we always say?
Buy our toys.
Wow, cool robot.
Bye-bye.
So.
Bye.